Welcome back, everyone. Today I have a special video where I'm going to help a YouTuber build a team, or a couple of them. He actually has a few amount of figures and he's looking for a little bit of help on building teams. He was going to give me a list of his figures and I was going to make a team or a couple just to give him some ideas and help him out. Now, this is something I'm actually going to do for all of you. Now, it might take a while to do everyone's videos, but if you want to give me about 20 figures, I'll take a look in a personal message and try to make a team for you. And for this video, I will make the teams and then I will kind of give you my ideas on how to play them, or at least what my thought process is going into. So this video is for Auto Zombie 8, A-T-O-Z-O-M-E-B-I-E 8. Here's your video, and I'm going to do my best to help you out. And down below, I will list all the figures that he gave me to make the teams with, so you guys get an understanding of why I made the teams and what I was choosing from. And this would be your opportunity to, after watching this video, you can give him suggestions on the figures that he gave me, because I'm not going to use all of those figures. So for Team 1, I have Punisher, 100 points from the Gravity Feed 205. Then we have Arbiter, number 24 from the Halo set. He's 124 points. Then we have Grunt, number 14, and he's from the Halo set, and he's 26 points. And we have Ken from the Street Fighter, number 106. That would be the one from the starter set. And that's 50 points, and that team comes out to 300 points. So we have Punisher here. He's got 6 range, 3 targets. He's stealthy, sharpshooter, toughness, and he's got range combat expert. He has a special power down below. When Punisher makes a ranged combat attack, increase the damage dealt by 1 to each hit target character if that character is adjacent to 1 or more hit targets. So looking at this, you're going to want to get in stealth and you're going to want to do ranged combat expert on your opponent to do 4 damage. If the opportunity arises where you can target more than 1 and you can do the spray of bullets, I would definitely recommend doing that. If you take damage, you end up on Running Shot and Psychic Blast, and beyond that, you still go back into Stealth, and you have Willpower, and you have Close Combat Expert to do extra damage up close. And you also have the Sharpshooter to make ranged combat attacks from close combat. So your options are pretty good. For the first 4 clicks, you're going to be able to do range attacks and do more than 3 damage to get through any kind of damage reducers. You got Range Combat Expert to do up to 4 damage, and then you have the Psychic Blast to cut through any damage reducers. Your last click, you got Regeneration to heal back up. So the second figure for this team is going to be the Arbiter. He's 124 points, 6 range. We've got Leap Climb, Psychic Blast, Impervious Leadership, and we got special powers down below. Those are traits. I'm not up on the Halo that much. If you know that, good. For the most part, we're just going to go with straight up dial. These are just extra special powers to sweeten the deal. What you're going to want to do with this, because Punisher and the Arbiter are both 6 range characters, you're going to want to keep them together, possibly use leadership to take off tokens. You got Psychic Blast to go through damage reducers, and his defense at 17 probably is going to be in next to hindering terrain, because Punisher, you're going to want to keep him in hindering terrain. So he's going to probably have an 18 from range, and you're going to be able to cut through damage reducers, and your attack of 11 is pretty good. I think these 2 combinations together are going to be really nice and do a lot of good damage from range. The only bad thing is 6 range is not considered really long distance, but with the Leap Climb, you're going to be able to get into position. And if you decide that you want to push this figure, he's very pushable, because the second click will be in stealth, still keep your Psychic Blast, and now you have Outwit. Now that is going to be really, really good. If you decide that you want a higher defense, you can push him again to get on the 3rd click, and you will have an 18 defense, but you will go down to toughness. So if you look at this dial, it's very playable and pushable. Now to protect the Arbiter and the Punisher, you need some close combat figures, and this is where I put in the next figure. Ken, 50 points, 4 range, so you do have a little bit of range here to work with. But you're going to really want to do close combat actions with this character. You're going to want to base him up because he's got combat reflexes. So from close combat, he'll have an 18 defense, and you have close combat expert with 2 damage. So you get, if you make a close combat attack, you get the bonus to damage by 2. Now, Street Fighter's team ability is a charge. You will not be able to use the Street Fighter charge with Close Combat Expert, so don't try to think that's going to work. You will have to be stationary and then use the Close Combat Expert. And once you get in that position, you'll be able to hold down a figure. You're gonna be hard to hit, and then you're gonna have Punisher and Arbiter take pop shots on the character. So that is gonna be what you're gonna want to do with this character, and he's still gonna be able to do damage with the Close Combat Expert. Really good tie-up piece, and potentially to be able to do some damage as well. And the final figure for this team is the Grunt from Halo, 26 points. He's going to have special damage. When Grunt misses a ranged combat attack, roll a d6 after the action. On the result of a 6, you can make another ranged combat attack as a free action. And he also has 6 range. So you can keep them all bunched together, Punisher, Arbiter, and the Grunt, to do these like ranged attacks. Or if you need another figure to get up front and base another figure to tie him up so that the others can attack, this Grunt for 26 points is definitely a good option. The only thing, though, if you use the quick fire special damage power, you're not going to be able to do it from close combat since it has to be a ranged combat attack. But you got options here. I think this team for 300 points is definitely playable, and I'd like to see how it works. Considering the figures I had to deal with, I think this is a pretty good 300-point team. Now for Team 2, we have Master Chief, number 35 in the set, 84 points. We have Spartan, number 9 in the set, 80 points. We're going to use 2 of those, and we're going to use the Marine, number 2, at 54 points. This one is strictly Halo. You gave me more Halo figures, so I figured I would make you a strictly Halo team. First figure we're going to go over is the Marine, 54 points. Run and shot, energy shield deflection, and we have a special attack power. When Marine makes a ranged combat attack targeting an opposing character that was hit by another friendly character this turn, modify the opposing character's defense by -1. You're going to want to use this Marine after you've already attacked with all your other characters, because if they attack a character that's been hit already in the turn, that character has a -1 when this Marine attacks on them. But with the run and shot and the 6 range, you have a good chance of being able to hit somebody. And from range, you're going to be in 18 with the energy shield deflection. For 54 points, you have a pretty good figure here. Only doing 2 damage, but like I said, still not that bad. Now we have Master Chief, 84 points. This is the Brute Shot one, 6 range. Leap Climb, Energy Explosion, 18 Invulnerability, 2 damage, and we have a special damage. When Master Chief uses Energy Explosion and hits the target character, you may decrease the number of grenades in your grenade pool by -1 and deal 3 damage to the target character instead. Other characters are dealt normal damage. So you have 2 damage here, but if you're not going to use your grenade pool, you have 2 of them, you can use this energy explosion 2 times to make it do 3 damage, which will be able to get through damage reducers. This is a pretty good figure for the points, and I like the attack. It even goes up higher on the 2nd and 3rd, but you lose invulnerability and you go to toughness. And now the staple for this team, we're going to use 2 Spartans. They're 70 points, and they have 7 range. They have run and shot, toughness, 10 attack, and 3 damage. This is the guy that's going to be able to get through all damage reducers for at least 2 clicks, and going to give you your best range and a pretty solid attack. And they also have a special attack later in their dial. Give Spartan a power action. When he has no action tokens, he makes a ranged combat attack, modifying his attack by +2. On the 2nd click, he has a 9 attack, but you use this and he has an 11 attack. So for the theme for this team, it's going to be strictly run and gun, using your run and shots and your Master Chief Energy Explosion to make ranged attacks. Not going to be so good from close combat, but they're still going to be able to hold their own, and I think the Master Chief is going to be a good little brick figure with the invulnerability. So if someone tries to get up close, you're going to probably want to use Master Chief to do most of the close combat attacks if you can, because he doesn't have run and shot. The Spartans and the Marines are going to be able to do run and shot and get some range shots off. The Spartans, though, have actually 1 more range further than the Punisher or the Arbiter. So if they go together, try to use your range so that the Arbiter and the Punisher actually will not be able to shoot out at the Spartan if they're at full range. So that's something to keep in mind. I will say, though, when Punisher and Arbiter get in stealth, you're going to have to come and get them because this team will not be able to see through stealth. If they get in stealth, you're going to want to just rush up on them using your Master Chief as more of like a brick figure. The Marine might not be a bad figure to base with the Punisher because the Punisher gets most of his powers by using ranged attacks, because with the Ranged Combat Expert and Psychic Blast are all ranged attacks. If he wants to use those powers, he's going to have to shoot through your energy shield deflection, even at close combat. But he can choose not to do that, and you make a close combat attack, and you will not get the bonus to your defense, but they don't do as much damage. He's only going to be able to do 2 damage, and you'll be right back on your toughness. So that's just something to think about, because you're going to have to get through stealth at some point. And make sure you're only based with Punisher and that none of the other figures are going to be able to get a shot off on him. I did tell you I was going to make a 700-point team, and it's basically going to be a lot of the same figures, but just adding a couple in there. You can either use A-Bomb or Hulk Robot. You get to pick one. You decide which one you want to do. Use the Punisher, Chun-Li, the 50-point version, Ken, the 50-point version, the Marine, Spartan, Arbiter, and the Master Chief, the 85-point Master Chief. Use all those together and use the same strategies that I said. Use Ken, Chun-Li, and A-Bomb or Hulk Robot as close combat figures and tie-up pieces. Then you're going to want to use all your range figures with all the Halo figures and your Punisher to make range attacks off of. And that's basically how I would say to use your 700-point team. Hopefully you'll get more figures and be able to make, better teams. I think these are playable teams, but once you get more competitive figures, I think you'll have a better chance of actually doing better. Hopefully this was helpful. Anyone else that wants a team thought out by me, please leave me a personal message and I'll do my best to get it out to you as soon as possible.